Do you think it's boring without a story?
Probably is boring without a story. The difference is when you see the story that's playing in your head, when you realize that it's not real, it has nothing to do with you, then it's more of an entertainment. Everybody has some sort of story going on in their head all day long. I mean, that's the human experience. It's the nature of the mind. It produces images and stories. And if you believe them, if you believe the stories, then you're likely to suffer. And your experience is likely to always be changing. You know, you're happy and you're sad and you're miserable and you're always struggling. And as soon as you realize that your mind, the human mind, is like a movie production company. It's a Hollywood production company. It's always producing stories.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe them, if you believe that the stories are true and they're about you and they reference you, the odds are you're going to suffer. Unless, miraculously, all the movies turn out good for you. But that's not likely.
That's what I've been doing all week, just noticing the stories. And either I'm in them and then notice. And it takes a while for the feeling to step out of that feeling too. But that's what I've been practicing all week, just noticing them and just wondering, these are stories, why would they caught up in them? Really, because it really is.
Yeah.
I believe it, and then I start to go from controlling somebody else, and wear myself out.
It's exhausting. Yeah, it's trying to get involved, control, and manipulate the story.
To be safe.
That's the belief, yeah. You believe you'll be safe. Yeah, it really has nothing to do with safety.
Yeah, so...
Because if you believe that the story that's playing is real, then you want to get in there and manipulate and control it so you'll be safe, so you'll be happy, so you'll have love, so you'll have peace. So you'll have all this safety and this love and this peace that we think we'll get if we're able to manipulate and control the story that's playing in our head. And you realize it's exhausting. If we put the television on and started watching a movie right now, and if every scene that we didn't like, we sat here and tried to change it, we'd be exhausted by the end of the movie. Like, oh, watch out, oh, don't. Yeah. But if you sit back and you watch and you realize, this is a movie produced in Hollywood, then you're more likely to watch it or enjoy it, to appreciate whatever's happening, no matter what's happening. If there's successes and failures, happiness and sadness, laughter and tears. All of the human experiences come and go. So you watch it and you appreciate it. And the same is true of this story that's playing in our heads. Somehow in the human experience, these movies and the stories, the brain has the capacity to produce these magnificent stories. In everyone, it's the human experience. So it's not like you're doing it. It's not like you decided to create these stories playing in your head.
Yeah. Okay, but there's still physical consequences. I mean, which you don't get watching a story on TV. So you just went to the doctor. He said, you got something wrong with your back, your spleen. You might not be able to do your job anymore. You're on welfare. Something like that. You have hardship, physical hardship. That's a little different than watching the story on TV. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to get it.
It's still the story about it.
It's exactly the same. If you believe, see, there's a body there. But if there's no story playing in your head about reacting or responding to whatever happens, you say you go to the doctor, you find out you have cancer. Yeah. I mean, so what? What difference does it make to me? It doesn't make any difference to me. I don't believe the story, and it doesn't matter to me. This body, and there's a lot of different ways of looking at it. 6 billion years ago, there was no Earth. This sounds funny, it may sound absurd, but 6 billion, the Earth formed about 5 billion years ago, started forming, according to scientists, pretty much confirmed and agreed upon, that about 5 billion years ago, this Earth started forming. These bodies are made up of components, elements from this Earth. Everything in our bodies comes from the Earth. There was no Earth 6 billion years ago. You say, well, that's a long time. But so what? It's really not a long time in cosmological years. 6 billion years ago, no Earth. So where were these bodies? They were floating as space dust and material.
Yeah.
And then something caused the Earth to form. Something caused the Earth to cool down, and something caused life and all the different forms to be expressed on this planet Earth. And here we are. 6 billion years ago, the elements of these bodies were floating in space. And now here they are. In 5 or 10, 20 billion years, however long it takes for the Earth to overcool or overheat, the sun to burn out, whatever happens, or it can do whatever happens to the Earth will break down and dissipate, break back down into the elements and be floating in space again. These bodies are meaningless. If you believe I am Carl, you're going to suffer. And if you think this life is separate from universal life, these lives are universal life. When was the universe born? Was it ever born? You can say, well, Big Bang Theory, whatever theory, right then. Well, what was there prior to the Big Bang? So, was the universe ever born? These lives are universal life. Our lives, looking out through our eyes, is universal life. Mm-hmm. It's infinite. It was never born, and it will. The universal life will never die. It will express in a new form. If you're worried about these forms, and it gets cancer or it doesn't, then you're going to be worried all the time. Even when you're healthy, you're perfectly healthy. You're just waiting. Oh my God, what's going to happen to my body? And then you get the news. I have cancer. Oh my God, see, I knew it. What difference does it make? You get cancer, you get hit by a truck. It's a body. This is universal life. These forms will go back to the Earth. These human forms, all the trees and dogs and cats go back to the Earth, and then when eventually the Earth will break down, either overheat or overcool, the sun will burn out, and our entire solar system will break apart and go back to its original elements floating in space.
Well, aren't you afraid that you'll forget all this stuff, after you die, and then you have to go through all this shit all over again?
I don't know anything about rebirth or anything. My rebirth happens to me throughout my day when I think of myself again. That's the only rebirth that I know anything about, which I see that happening all the time. I forget all about myself. I'm busy cooking, I'm busy working, I'm busy completely involved in whatever I'm doing. Where's Stephen? It's only when the thought about Stephen and his health, Stephen and his career, Stephen and his relationship, and then, oh my God, what am I going to do? Then Stephen is reborn in the form of the thought and the story. That's rebirth to me. I have no experience with any other rebirth Some people apparently do. I don't know anything about that. If you're worried about, if you think, if you believe the story that Carl has a separate life, a temporary separate life, then you're always going to be worried about it, even when you're perfectly healthy. Because it's just a matter of time. Either you're going to get hit by a car, you're going to get cancer, you're going to have a heart attack, something's going to happen. Either you die quickly or you go in a nursing home and die slowly over a period of time. So what? That's my response. If you're worried about that, it's not your life. It's not your life. It's not Carl's life. It's not Carl's body. It's not Carl's story. There's nothing personal about it. It's only the thought and the story, and that I am Carl, I am this body, and then the potential for fear arises. Because if you are Carl and you are limited to that little body, you're as good as dead already.
Mm.
But you can't be just Carl. You have to be universal life, because you could not separate. We can't separate our life from universal life.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it.
Yeah, there wouldn't be anything here if you didn't have that.
No. When did we? So 6 billion years ago, there's the elements, literally, the elements of this body were floating in space. And some mysterious force created the earth, and then created all the different life forms, not just human life forms. We are just one of an infinite variety of life forms. Amazingly, and here we are, this universal life, looking out through our eyes, looking at our different aspects of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that.
It has to be me. Everything has to be the one mysterious source. So I have to be looking at a different form of myself. Just like I look at my foot and I look at my hand, two different expressions of the same life. So we look at you, same, in essence, the same, just different expressions of the same mysterious source. You have nothing of your own. There's nothing separate about you. We cannot separate ourselves from the mysterious source of all existence, or from God.
And yet every being
is
different.
Yeah, different, and a different expression, and the essence is the same. Everything from a mosquito, a spider, a dog, a cat, human beings, all different forms of expression of the universal life that's expressing itself in this infinite variety of forms. But it's all me. When I say me, all universal life. So if we're worried about this expression, I mean, you're as good as dead already. This body will die. It's the nature of all expressions.
Yeah.
The mosquito, born and dies. The earth was born. The earth will die. The sun was born. The sun will die.
Like Christ raised Lazarus from the dead. Where is he now?
Yeah. So all forms, every form is born and dies. The earth. Even galaxies are born. The Milky Way galaxy, which consists apparently of 100 billion stars, like our sun. There's 100 billion of them apparently, just in our galaxy. And apparently there's over 100 billion galaxies. And the galaxies are born. They form, they come together and form, and they're always changing, they're alive. Galaxy is a temporary appearance. What chance do you have if you think you're Carl? You don't have a chance. The Milky Way galaxy is a temporary appearance. It will be gone. So if we're sitting here worrying about whether or not we're going to get cancer, forget it.